Good evening. We are Team 81, and today we're going to be talking about some employee reward frameworks. More specifically, we're going to dive into Google and how they utilize these frameworks to motivate their employees to be happy within the workplace and stay motivated. Moving on to our agenda, Jose will be starting us off with some peer-to-peer bonuses. He will then pass it off to Lola, who will talk about the 20% policy that Google has initiated and some reimbursements. Jimena will then talk about some comprehensive benefits. Luciana will talk about the skills available. Laura will talk about some Google refreshers. And I, Elijah, will talk about leveraging data information. I'll now pass it off to Jose to talk about those bonuses.
Thank you, Elijah. So for our first employee framework reward is the Google's peer-to-peer bonus. This is different than a traditional bonus where it is given by a manager due to an individual performance, where this is given to an employee due to their collaboration and just going above and beyond. At Google, any employee can nominate a colleague for a cash bonus. This isn't limited to managers or workers that are below managers. It is a way for teammates to recognize each other's contributions in real time, whether solving a tough problem or going above and beyond, or simply just being a great collaborator. This kind of recognition has a powerful impact. Peer bonuses boost engagement and retention by reinforcing a culture of appreciation. When recognition comes from peers, it feels more authentic and helps build trust, motivation, and team cohesion. But recognition is only one part of Google's framework. The other is structured development. Google uses a review process called GRAD, which stands for Googler Reviews and Development. GRAD is designed to be transparent, consistent, and growth focused. This, paired with the peer bonus, is able to track the performance and see how the workers are actually motivated and how the workflow is being improved from these bonuses. And GRAD isn't just about evaluating the performance, it also is about unlocking potential. It gives employees a clear path for growth, helps them identify strengths and areas for improvement, and supports long-term career development. Together, these two systems, peer bonuses and GRAD, create a balanced framework, and you can see the immediate impact. And you can also see the other future potential from the GRAD. It's a model that values both recognition and accountability. And it's a key reason why Google continues to attract and retain top talent. Now I'll pass it on to Lola to talk about our second framework.
Thank you so much, Jose. So I'm going to get into the 20% time policy and the tuition reimbursement. They're both very distinctive parts of Google's employee rewards framework. Starting with the 20% time policy, it's actually widely known as one of Google's most famous ideas because employees are actually encouraged to spend at least one day a week working on personal projects that they themselves are passionate about. They don't have to be part of their regular job, but they do have to somehow correlate to Google's broader goals. And it really is a great example of a non-monetary reward because it gives the employees to tap into something deeper than money, meaning things like freedom, trust, and just overall creative control. And when it comes to measuring this, Google actually takes a look at their metrics through the number of ideas that actually end up turning into products. For example, Gmail and Google News actually were both ideas that stemmed from this, which is super cool. Not only this, but they'll look for new patents and just employee engagement scores overall, along with the retention data to see, because when employees feel more creative and empowered, they tend to stay longer with the company and contribute more to the company. And then as far as the tuition reimbursement program, this is where they invest directly in employee growth. They actually are willing to cover up to $12,000 a year as long as it's for an approved educational program. And this can range from things like technical certifications to leadership or just business courses. This would be considered a skill-based reward, which is completely designed to help employees advance and just feel supported in their career journeys. And the way that Google measures this is how many eligible employees choose to participate in this, as well as their career progression and performance improvements after they've completed these programs. They also can look at the overall return on learning, which basically just means how these educational benefits translate into better performance, innovation, and leadership throughout the company. And these two programs honestly just show how wide of a framework that Google has for their rewards programs that just go beyond things like bonuses and benefits. And now I'm going to pass it on over to Jimena.
Thank you, Lola. Now I'm going to talk about the comprehensive skills that Google provides as part of the employees' rewards framework, since this is designed to support the employees and ensure long-term success, which includes health insurance, vision coverage, and mental health support. That goes beyond just like monetary rewards, since it reflects diverse needs of employees. Not only that, but they also have the Mental Wellness Center, which provides the resources to thrive as employees inside of Google. And these are very important because they reinforce the value that Google places on the comprehensive skills of their employees. Since they also have the Bay Area, which helps reward employees with the resources to help them maintain a resilience, a physical and mental health, um, which help them maintain physical and mental health to perform at their best. They also help develop resilience and adaptability in high pressure projects, as well as help them balance personal and professional responsibilities with confidence, and also help them access care and support when challenges arises. And with this approach of rewards, they ensure that employees are rewarded with security, support, and growth opportunities, which create a culture that is important for comprehensive skills to continue to be developed inside of Google, as well as they are valued and nurtured. And with that being said, I'll pass it on to Lucy.
Thank you very much, Jimena. Now, when looking at skills available to learn, there's 3 different sectors. There's the certifications Google offers, the internal programs Google offers, and in reward, there's compensation. These are all very important throughout Google's programming. First, let's talk about the certification. Through the Google Career Certification Program, there's been 1 million graduates, and these graduates have pursued credentials in high demand fields such as UX design, IT support, data analytics, and they have fostered areas of further research. They are learning about generative AI, and these aren't just generic courses. They're tightly aligned with real job functions and are evolving business needs, specializing in formats of conducting research such as generative AI and machine learning. There are also signals for promoting eligibility. They show that you have done the work to put in more performance and you deserve a reward for that. They are designed to bring employees into higher roles and to give them the skills they need. This brings us into the internal programs. Google invests in peer-based learning. They use a system called Googler to Googler. This is an internal volunteer-driven program where employees teach one another how to conduct their research. You can go up to any employee in a different field and ask them, I want to learn how to do this, and they can volunteer and teach you how to do it. This is creating a culture of continuous development where you feel embedded in the daily work of the participant. There's also the learner and the facilitator, where both people benefit from this element. And it's both from beginning employees to managers and higher up individuals. These internal programs are completely peer-based learning, and they also are created so that way you feel recognized within your job. This brings us into compensation for your work. Google takes these skills into account. They take the work that you've put in into account. And a basic way of looking at it is the more you put in, the more money you can gain out of it. They're put into your performance review systems, which influence bonuses and allow for equity grants or future promotions. These new skills give you higher ratings, and they give you the skills you need to get to those promotions. I'll end with a quote. Skill growth isn't just encouraged, it's compensated, and that's by the People Analytics team. Now, moving on to Lotto.
Thank you, Lucy. Now let's go ahead and jump into Google's refreshers. This is Google stocks, the way that they reward their employees for consistently showing up to work every day, putting their best foot forward, and elevating the environment around them. One large thing that is highly involved in the refreshers is the manager's opinion and evaluation of the employee being assessed. The manager has the option to go ahead and grant them the refresher and also eliminate that from them. One large thing that they do look at is how consistently they've showed up, specifically if they've missed a day. So if they've missed a day, it's most likely they will not be receiving the refresher. But if they haven't, they've consistently been showing up to work, they haven't missed a day, they can definitely get the refresher. And there is a little bit of leeway, all depending on the evaluation from the manager. Now let's go ahead and look at a quick example, put this more into what it'll look like. For example, if the Google stock is worth $10,000, the employee is going to go ahead and get 25% of that in the first year, and then the rest of it will be spread out over the next 3 years. So it'll be a 4-year process, 25% every single year. And the main goal from this is keeping the employee engaged longer, keeping them on the same page as the company, wanting the company to do well with the employee doing well. So as both of them do better, they both positively correlate to the top. With that said, I'll now go ahead and pass it on to Elijah. That's going to go ahead and wrap everything up for us.
Well said, Lauro. To wrap up our slides, I'm going to go ahead and talk about how Google is using data to leveraging data to ensure that these recognition patterns are really hitting. Google has a really unique way of taking a look at this because they are a tech company. They have a Pi Lab. This is going to be their people and innovation lab. As well as this Pi Lab in team with their people analytics, they are able to take a look at objective measurements to identify if everything is going right. First example is going to be, is it fair and effective? During those manager discretion awards, are they making sure they're not giving it to the same one every time? Are they actually giving it to people who are boosting the company, not just their friends? With the Pi Lab and the people analytics, they're able to dive in and understand if everything is going right in terms of who should be receiving the rewards and if their recognition is being recognized. Employee surveys is a great way to engage with the company and see if they feel they are being recognized for the work that they think they've been putting in. Are they being compensated? Do they feel like everything is going the right direction? They also have engagement metrics. Are they being more engaging with others? Are they talking about this compensation? Is everything working well? There's no negative reviews about it. And more importantly, the recognition is customizable. You don't want to be recognizing someone, throwing them up in the air saying, thank you so much for your work, if that's just not who they are. You want to tailor these recognition to the person. For example, if they're more introverted, maybe just a quick little Gmail. Hey, thank you so much for the work you put in. I really appreciate everything you did on that project. Maybe someone who really values their career, a certificate. There's many ways to tailor their recognition to the employees, and that's what the Pi Lab is doing within data. And so it's really unique to see how a company like Google is using their assets to fuel their recognition so that they're ensuring their employees are not only motivated, but also unlocking that newer potential. That's going to wrap it up for our slides, but below we have an appendix for some more information that we might not have gotten to. Thank you so much for watching, and we were Team 81.